So let me know when you can see the screen.
We can, yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about the happiness habit called positive mindset, which I think this quote by Viktor Frankl really says it all and really captures this idea of positive mindset, that everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances and to choose one's own way. Or, as Buddha might say, you are what you think. And I wish I could add to this also, you are what you think and what you feel. So positive mindset is really about how you're thinking, how you're feeling, and how you're approaching the world in terms of both things that happened in your past, in terms of the present moment, and in terms of the future. So when we think about past, we talk a lot about feelings about the past, which are captured by this idea of gratitude. So when we are grateful about situations that have occurred in our lives, and even sometimes challenging situations, that's an expression of gratitude, and it's a very positive way to view past experiences. Mindfulness is not really necessarily a way of thinking or feeling. In some ways, it's almost the absence of thinking or feeling, but it is a full focus on the present moment. And that, which we know from the research, is very, very positive benefits, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And then finally, optimism towards the future. That is also a very positive mindset to have. So when thinking about upcoming events, thinking with hope and thinking positively. So we're just going to go through each of these aspects of positive mindset in a little bit more detail, just unpack it a little bit. So let's start with mindfulness.
I love
See
that
here,
picture.
this
It's my
cartoon.
favorite cartoon. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, it is.
Yep.
Oh, it's funny. Yeah, and I think we've all had this this kind of experience where all of a sudden we realize, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? Right? As it says here in the cartoon, this is grass. We've been eating grass. And have you ever had this happen in your life when you just realize, you snap out of it and realize that you've been in autopilot, that you've been checked out, and all of a sudden you come back to the present moment? That's really what we're talking about in terms of mindfulness. So being really tuned in as opposed to checked out. And so we're just going to do a quick exercise now. If everyone could either close your eyes or focus on the image on the screen, and just take a minute to get in touch with the present moment. Take a deep breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale again and exhale. We're all in different parts of the country and all over the world, but we're here in this moment together. I'd like you to breathe in, and when you breathe in, say to yourself the word deep. And when you exhale, say breath. So one more time, deep. Inhale, breath. Exhale. Say the word calm as you inhale. And think of the word happy as you exhale. Think calm, inhale. Happy, exhale. And one last breath. As you inhale, think of the word here. And as you exhale, think of the word now. So you are here now in this present moment. And if you can, just open your eyes and come back to focus. So what we did took just a few seconds. It was not meditation, but it was a quick breathing exercise to help get us checked in, to help bring us back to the present moment, because we all get distracted. I do it too. We all have those moments. And for me, when I think of mindfulness, originally, I used to think of mindfulness as being something that was really, well, for me, I thought it was the one habit that I just wasn't practicing at all because I was not into meditation and I didn't do yoga. And that's what I thought of when I thought of mindfulness. And what I realized, I went to a coaching conference a couple years ago and heard Dr. Lillian Chang present. And she talked about mindfulness in a different way that I found to be very inspiring. She defined mindfulness as the practice of being fully present in each moment. And we can practice it in simple ways. We can practice it in the way we breathe, the way we eat, the way we walk, and even the way we do mundane activities, things like washing dishes or brushing our teeth. And as you see the images here, one way to think about this is imagine if you wash the dishes every day as if you were washing a newborn baby, your newborn baby. And think about the kind of attention and care that you might give to that activity, the presence that you would have, and how that's quite different than most likely how many of us approach washing the dishes, certainly different than how I approach washing the dishes, which is not one of my favorite tasks. And what I loved about this definition of mindfulness is that it really just opens it up to everyone, that anyone can practice it, anyone can do it. And that's a good thing because there's lots of health benefits of mindfulness you see here. We know that it reduces stress, anxiety, depression, improves quality of life especially for patients with disease or immune system problems. A lot of hospitals now are employing mindfulness practices with their patients. And it can also improve with addictive behaviors or compulsive behaviors. So it has a lot of recorded benefits that have been researched. And here's another simple way that you can practice mindfulness. Thich Nhat Hanh, who is a Buddhist monk, he said that the apple in your hand is the body of the cosmos. And what he means by that is he talks a lot about this idea of mindful eating. And instead of eating the way probably the majority of us eat, and certainly how I eat sometimes with a 2-year-old at home, which is in the car, while talking to him and driving and possibly doing a million other things or thinking about a million other things and just scarfing something down. I'm really focusing on the meal or the food in front of you and taking time to, for example, smell the apple before you eat it. Look at it carefully. Hold it in your hand. Feel it. And when you take a bite, really chew it. He says even chewing it 20 to 30 times a bite, which is not realistic to do all the time, but if you try it a few times each time you eat a meal, it can be really, really fascinating and interesting how the experience is quite different and how it really help you check into that present moment. So when we talk about mindfulness, there are different ways to practice it that are not just practicing meditation for an hour a day or going to a yoga class. You can simply try a breathing exercise like the one that we did. You could try mindful eating, taking a walk, or what we talked about, monotasking, where you're really focusing exclusively on a task at hand. So an example that Dr. Chang talked about, it was a doctor who she was going through a residency and working a crazy amount of time, 80, 100 hours a week, and just thought, okay, there's no way I can practice mindfulness because I'm just working too much. I have no time. And the solution they came up with for her was hand washing, because as a doctor, she had to wash her hand something like 40 times a day. And so what she did is she simply used hand washing as a way to do a mindfulness check-in. So every time she washed her hands, she fully focused on the sensations and the experience of washing her hands, as opposed to thinking about the upcoming surgery or thinking about something that just happened out in the hallway. And this became something that she could easily fold into what she was already doing. It wasn't taking any extra time, but it was really impacting her well-being in a positive way.